So Jordan Peterson made the point that women are hardwired to be connected to infants in a family setting. And what you really want a mother to be is you want them to empathize with every cry of the infant. And so you want her emotions and her ability to relate and her ability to empathize to be cranked way up so that the infant survives, because infants are incredibly, you know, fragile. I mean, they can't take care of themselves. And if mothers could just be like, oh, I don't identify at all with that poor little crying baby over there. You know, I'm just going to go to the other room and read a book while they cry themselves, you know, silly. That's not, you know, mothers can't do that because mothers have this superpower of being able to empathize and therefore care for infants. And I think that continues in a home. I think when I think of a motherless child, that the tragedy that I imagine is that there's nobody who is going to reflexively feel what they're feeling. Tim Keller made the statement once that I never forgot, which is that a mother can never be happier than her least happy child, which sounds terrible at
Hmm.
one level, and I think it might be a little extreme. But I think that one of the elements of that is that maybe all the things we're talking about is that women are supposed to be hyper empathetic to everyone in their family. Like that's what a mother or daughter ought to be in a family context. And so you're in this really small context, and there aren't people that are perpetually sad or perpetually afraid and dealing with anxiety. It just comes and goes. But when it comes, you want to have that daughter or that mother come to you and say, "Hey, you know, let me enter in to what you're experiencing right now, and I will help comfort you." And it's incredibly comforting when you are, let's say, grieving the loss of some, like you know, let's say a pet died, or you know, you're going through something. It's like you want somebody in the world to actually feel your pain with you, so you're not alone in the moments where you're suffering emotionally. And I think women are really good at that. They're hardwired to do that in a family context. What happens when we take that context and we say, "Hey, let me expose you to hundreds or thousands of people who are now experiencing all these negative emotions." And you could just all day long just sit on TikTok. You don't even have to swipe. It'll just algorithmically come to you over and over and over and over again. We'll just feed you with empathy and empathetic emotions. You could just feel it all day long. And of course, over time, what's going to start to happen to a girl who's designed in a family context for that to be contained within a very tiny community that of people she knows and loves, and you just now are projecting that endlessly, and somebody is trying to algorithmically, uh, they're trying to suck you in to make money by pulling on all these negative emotions, right? These pulling all these strings. I don't know. That's what it feels like is happening when I hear Jonathan Haidt talk about this. And I think that if we don't talk about this in the context of where this is good, like what women, because we don't understand that femininity is designed for a family context, that gender is a family construct, it's not a social construct. People can just look at this as, you sort of, how do you just want to steal your daughters, like, so that she, like, what are you trying to do, like trying to make it so she doesn't feel emotions. And this is where I think that, and I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are about this. Like, are there some boundaries that women need to voluntarily take on so that they can fully give themselves in a family context, but not be sort of manipulated by big tech companies? Even like entertainment. I think that watching movies that might be, you know, disturbing to you, and for people to say, well, you should just be able to take it. Like a man doesn't have problems when they watch this movie. A man doesn't have problems when they're watching these YouTube videos. I think that part of the erasure of gender, and along with that, erasing the context for the strengths of men and women, leaves us vulnerable to telling our daughters, telling women, telling girls to become like men and enter into the exact same context they are, but you're not designed like men. And so you're going to be uniquely vulnerable to being impacted negatively by a lot of the things that are happening.